Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's time for the aftermath. It's finished West Ham United 0, Burnley 1. I've actually just done an interview with Nicky Hawkins from West Ham Fan TV, and that's going to be up on their channel very soon. So you can see me on there if you head over to their channel. Overall thoughts on that game. Frustration is the word that comes to mind. And the other word that comes to mind is annoyance, because particularly in that first half, West Ham had so many chances. Souček and Antonio had big ones, and we didn't take them. And that just shows exactly what happens in football. You don't take your chances, you don't score goals, and you don't win games. Having said that, Nick Pope was on fire for Burnley throughout the whole game. Every cross we put in, he caught, and he was solid for them. What I will say is that Burnley did everything so simplistically, yet they did it simplistically and very well. It wasn't a great game to watch, it was a bit flat, but Burnley did the basics excellently, whilst West Ham tried really hard and got nothing. I was excited to see the starting lineup. Yarmolenko was starting, Bowen was there. I would have dropped Pablo Fornals, in all honesty, and probably put in Jack Wilshere. And other than that, I was okay with that starting 11. I didn't really have too many problems with it. In the first half, West Ham had a lot more possession and a lot more chances than Burnley. Souček was denied from close range by Nick Pope, and Mikel Antonio was also denied. So I thought, that's looking quite positive. We're looking quite lively here. We're going to get a goal. But how wrong was I? The Burnley goal was yet again Aaron Cresswell's fault. What does David Moyes have to do to drop Cresswell? Cresswell's been poor in the last 3 games. He's letting players cut behind him and make crosses. He tried to go on the high tackle, didn't even win the ball. It's crossed in, it comes off of Jay Rodriguez's shoulder, takes an awkward bounce and it ends into the net. I think Fabianski was a bit baffled by that goal, but it was sloppy and strange. But still, West Ham were 1-0 down, much to the annoyance of a lot of the fans. Because like I say, West Ham were playing really well at that point. I didn't think there was anything too terrible. We definitely were making chances and having shots. The response to going 1-0 down was very good. Mikel Antonio went one-on-one with Pope. He took the shot and I was like celebrating. I thought that he'd actually scored the goal. But they just blew it wide and I'm thinking, man, how do you miss that? And the other thing is, I like Antonio. He's a great forward, powerful player, but that striker position is not for him. The game was calling out for a proper striker, and I'll get onto that a little later, because that came in the second half. My overall thoughts on the first half were not too negative. West Ham weren't too bad. A lot of good things coming from the game. Cresswell and Fredericks yet again were pretty useless. But we just showed that if you don't take your chances, you're not going to win. So in the second half, I'll get on to the major talking point. I'll talk about VAR not reviewing that Tarkowski tackle on Bowen. Tarkowski's gone in on Jarrod Bowen's thigh, stood showing, and digs it into his leg. The referee should have not even used VAR, should have just used common sense. That's a malicious tackle. Tarkowski would have been off, and then Burnley's defence would have been open up. Burnley didn't have a centre-back on the bench, and Ben Mee and Jack Cork are injured for this game. So losing Tarkowski would have been a blow for them in the game. He's got a red card, West Ham can go more attacking and go in through those gaps more. But no. And we saw this yesterday with the Arsenal game as well, how VAR's not being used properly. At that point I was a little bit worried that Bowen was injured, but he got back up and recovered and got back into the game. Still though, Tarkowski should have been off for that. A lot of people on Twitter are saying how that is not a red card. They don't even bother to review yet they review Chris Wood's offside and they take a little bit of time on that. I mean, where's the logic in that? For the second half, West Ham needed a change of formation. I would have gone a 4-4-2. Wilshere on, Hilaire on, and go more out for it. And fair play to Moyes, he took Yarmolenko off and he put on Hilaire. And Hilaire almost had an immediate impact, but Pope was like the brick wall, just stopping us all the time. So I was liking that. I thought that was a good sign of something possibly better to come. West Ham just continued putting in those crosses, having the possession, but not doing much with it. Fornals again had a bad game. He was stagnant. He gave the ball away to Burnley. Fornals should have come off a lot sooner. And Fornals came off and Yeti came on, but it was too late for that. The other thing I have to say about the substitutions is there's no sense behind it. There's 5 subs you can use and we used 2. Burnley were 1-0 up and they made an attacking change that was commonsensical. Bringing on Chris Wood because he likes to score against West Ham. They wanted to get a 2-0 lead, double that advantage. We stopped them, thankfully. But I can see what Burnley were doing there. And you know, Burnley's performances, that just reiterates how good of a manager Sean Dyche is. Such a simplistic tactician. Uses average players, but he makes them perform so well. He makes Burnley do the little things perfect without overdoing it. And that's another reason why Burnley are grafting out wins. We are still in this relegation battle. There's 4 games left and we've got to play 3 teams below us, starting with Norwich. And I expect us to beat Norwich. 100% we must beat Norwich. They're down and out. In fact, if we beat Norwich on Saturday, they're relegated back to the Championship. But we need to get points against Norwich, points against Watford, and hope teams below us drop points. At the same time, we can't be like this victim club that just depends on teams below us to drop points. They're not going to do that on purpose. I mean, Bournemouth might have Spurs and City, but they're not just going to simply accept defeat, are they? That's not on. They're still fighting for a chance to play Premier League football. And that game for Aston Villa, they've got to play Man United next, and then they've got to play Palace, and they could actually take points against Palace. We have to play Villa on the last day of the season, and I hope it doesn't come down to that. Team who wins stays up. I hope that doesn't happen. We got to get a little bit more breathing space before then. But from a team for Norwich, we are going to have to make some changes. Hilaire should start 4-4-2. I'd even have Masuaku starting over Cresswell, and I'd even go as far as starting Ben Johnson over Ryan Fredericks. Change it up and get rid of these error-prone players. And another thing, Fornals out, Wilshere in. Or even Noble. Yeah, I said that. But I want Fornals dropped for next game as well. To summarise, I'm just very frustrated. I'm not angry. I've not got any reason to be angry with that performance, but I am very frustrated with how he didn't get anything from that, because it was there for the taking. Burnley were really there for the taking, and to be honest, West Ham don't have a good record against him, like I said in the preview. And David Moyes is yet to beat Sean Dyche, actually. He's lost 4 and drawn 2 against him. Having said that, we can regroup and go again on Saturday, whereas big 3 points are needed. So I'll be getting behind the boys for that. Thank you very much for watching this Aftermath. If you want to check out my video on West Ham Fan TV, go over to their channel and watch it. I will be doing my preview show for the Norwich game, either tomorrow or Friday. If you like the video, hit like, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you all soon.